Yo, what's good, your boy Ghost here. Today I am bringing you guys a comparison video between the AK-74u and the Modern Warfare MP5. Now, ever since the integration has happened, there's been a lot of opinions on the new weapons that were just added to the game. A lot of people's opinions right now towards the Cold War weapons are very negative because most people feel like these guns aren't really that good or not able to compete with the ones from Modern Warfare. Now, I'm not here to really discuss about all that. Specifically right now, in this case, we have the AK-74u. This weapon, in my opinion, has been getting overshadowed a lot by the MAC-10, which for good reason, because the MAC-10 is a really good weapon. But I feel like the AK-74u is not getting the respect that it deserves, because right now, I think it's easily top 3 SMG in the game. Matter of fact, I think you can even make an argument for it to be top 2, knocking the MP5 out of top 2, putting MAC-10 and AK-74u at the top. We're going to discuss why, later in the video, but for now, we got the introduction, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, turn on post notifications. Comparison is something that we do a lot on this channel, and with this new integration, we're going to be doing a lot of them with a lot of type of weapons. If there's a specific comparison that you would like to see, put in the comment section down below. I'm open to do pretty much a lot or any of them. And also, for my subscribers or people that watch me consistently, I know I've uploaded for 3 days in a row. The grind's been real. I don't really plan on continuing a daily uploading streak, but right now content is heavy, hot, and it's really fun to make right now. So we're here, day 3. I don't know if it's gonna be a video tomorrow, maybe not, but hey, if you haven't seen the other 2 videos, make sure to go check them out. Let's get into comparison. And here we have the Recoil Pattern for the AK-74u, and here we have the class setup for the AK-74u. And personally, I think this is the best class setup to have for the 74u. You could substitute the 40 for a 60. You maybe could switch out the barrel if you wanted to have a little bit more control. But the task force barrels for SMGs are just probably the best thing that you could run because, I mean, if it gives you more recoil, it doesn't really matter because you're not beaming people from far range with the 74u. Maybe if you wanted it like an MP5 kind of thing where you wanted to run it with a sniper and you needed a little bit more range, maybe you could put on another barrel. I'll potentially look into that later, but if you want it as a secondary, how I'm using it, task force is most definitely the best way to go, because it gives you more damage. I don't know exactly how much damage you get increased because we don't have the statistics for that yet. And before you say just go look at the Cold War statistics, those don't reflect Warzone. That's just strictly Cold War, and there's a lot of things different from Cold War that is in Warzone. So like this gun performs way differently than it does in Cold War, and I think it's obvious. But when the time comes and we get the statistics, then we'll for sure know. But what can I say about this gun, man? This gun right here is already risen to be my favorite gun. I have not really gotten a chance to use the MAC-10, but the way this gun handles and the way it is, I don't really see myself necessarily switching to the MAC-10. I probably will use the MAC-10, but I think I might alternate between the 74u and MAC-10. But in terms of MP5, look, the MP5 is the bread and butter of Warzone. It's literally been meta since essentially day 1. Everyone uses it. Everyone runs it. It's there. And even though there was a fire shotgun meta, I mean, you could argue that it's still out there. But people were still running the MP5. I personally was still running the MP5, and it's just all reliable. But this gun right here, man, this is just. Oh man, you know how relieving it is to just be able to run around with a different SMG and put in work with a different SMG? Like, using the same thing every day, all game, just got very boring. And now I feel like I have a new go-to when it comes to my loadout. And if you haven't used AK-74u or are a little skeptical about it, man, I'm telling you, this gun is really good. And I've been outgunned in MP5s. I've outgunned MAC-10s. I've outgunned shotgun. I've outgunned a lot of things. And at medium range, it's really good too because, the barrel gives you more damage range and it gives you damage. You get a little bit more recoil, but with the foregrip that I have, and just your overall ability to control recoil, it's really not that bad. See, with the AR, if you put on the task force barrel, it gets a little wonky because the recoil gets hard and, the already lackluster damage range of the ARs, cruise it. But for the SMGs, that's not really a problem. That's why a lot of people are considering all SMGs, not all SMGs, but these SMGs are actually pretty good because they're not necessarily, you don't really see a downside to it. Maybe it's a little bit less damage on some SMGs, but that's just normal. Like in Modern Warfare, you have a bunch of SMGs that aren't as good as an MP5 or MP7. So it's just like kind of normal to have SMGs that are lackluster. But that doesn't mean that there aren't any good SMGs. Because right here, I'm showing you a good SMG. And I just showed you some clips of me going off with it. And I'm telling you my experiences with it. This is all I've been using since the integration has happened. Trust me, all the last 3 days, 4 days, I've played with this gun. And even when I was playing multiplayer in Cold War, this is all I was using. This is just such a comfortable gun to get used to. And I don't think it's that hard to use at all. It feels so good movement-wise. With double time as well. Like, it just feels so good. But anyways, besides that, let's get into the MP5. And here we have the recoil pattern for the MP5. That's something you're probably already familiar with. Nothing really new here. And here's the class setup for the MP5. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. And the clips that you're going to see with the MP5, it's not the updated class setup. You can already tell. Like, I have the collapsed stock instead of, like, the normal stock. And that's just because I felt like it was inefficient for me to go out and get clips on a gun that I already know how it works. I already know how it feels. And most of you guys already know what it feels like, too. And trying to get clips on a new class setup that you already see every day pretty much and doesn't really matter. It's kind of irrelevant too, because the class setup that I have now isn't like this crazy game changer class setup to the one that I have in these clips. It's really not that big of a deal. It's just literally a sleight of hand and that's it, instead of collapse. And that's not that, you know, that's really not that important. But anyways, also, if you are, you know, get a little weird about me recycling the clips, most of my comparisons always have fresh clips. Going forward, this is going to happen, but for the sake of, you know, the whole, you know, integration, you know, I wanted to get this video out because I feel like I already have a lot of knowledge about these weapons, especially since the AK-74u, you know, I have a lot of time with it already. Man, the MP5, I've literally used this day in and day out for like the last 6 months, 7 months, whatever, however long Warzone's been out. But anyways, so like I said earlier, this gun right here is bread and butter of Warzone. Everyone's used it since day one. You've been killed by it. You've used it most likely, and you already know how this works. The statistical side of these things, like, I don't know, right now in this video currently, like, it's a little weird just because, for one, the AK-74u stats aren't available, so I feel like just putting up one stats for one gun is weird, because that doesn't really, like, show you anything compared to the other one. And two, my personal beliefs is, your own experiences are way more valuable than any number that, you know, is presented to you in the form of statistic. So yeah, I can sit here and tell you that, you know, MP5 is like 30 damage, right? But okay, that, I don't think that really means anything. Like, yeah, it does 30 damage, so it's gonna be like, what, I don't know, 8 shot, whatever. Do the math. But just personal experiences with weapons is always thrive, man. I'm telling you, like, you could have the most strongest weapon in the game, but if it don't feel right with you, man, then it's just not it. But for me personally, both these weapons always feel good in my hands. And some of the things that I like to talk about when it comes to MP5 is the animations. Like, I know that's kind of weird to say, but for me, like, the way I move around the map, the way, you know, I maneuver and stuff, like, you know, I slide cancel, I jump a lot, I bunny hop, like, I just do these movements that, I don't know, just kind of became a habit. And I felt like in some of the Modern Warfare SMGs, the animation was, like, weird. Like, it didn't feel smooth for every SMG. And the MP5 always felt smooth to me. And the same goes for the AK-74u. Both these weapons, animations and movement, they just feel smooth. They're fast. I use double time, and I feel like I fly across the map with the 74u. And even without double time, I feel like I run pretty fast. Probably because of the attachments that I have on it to make it, you know, have a little bit faster movement speed. But, you know, regardless, with the SMG, you're going to be flying across the map. Even no matter the circumstance, I believe maybe there might be a few SMGs that might make you feel slow, but for the most part, it's better to run out with your SMG than like a AR, because you just run faster. But yeah, again, in terms of like recoil, actually it's something I do want to talk about. The recoil patterns, as you guys noticed, I'm sorry it took me this long to cover. If you guys have noticed, the recoil patterns to me were similar. Now, when you put on attachments and you actually take your time to control the recoil, you know, it's not really too crazy. I will say that the AK-74u feels like it has slightly more recoil than the 74u, or it's not recoil, it's the control. It has slightly less control at ranges than the MP5. You can't really, like, I won't say it's like a game-changing feeling that you will experience when using the 74u. But, you know, you can kind of notice it just a little bit at medium ranges. But the MP5, you really don't really see any recoil. The only times you can maybe see recoil is really far ranges, but, you know, that's more damage range than anything. If, like, when you're not hitting your shots at really far ranges, it's more because of the damage range than it is actually, like, the recoil and control. But at the end of the day, these things are SMGs. These aren't like ARs. You know, the whole point of these are to be close to medium range engagements, and they do that very well. But again, make sure to try out these weapons. There's something I'm always gonna preach in all my comparisons. You know, if you're new here, you know, I can sit here and tell you everything about the 74u MP5. I can tell you, present you as many stats as I want, but it's never gonna come close to you actually using the weapon. Yes, you can visually see it being bad or good, but you know, at the end of the day, if it doesn't feel right in your hand, or if it does feel right in your hand, like, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter who says what about it, what the numbers say. Just as long as it feels good in your hand, that's all that matters. So I'm asking you to give the AK-74u a chance. If you have not leveled it up, go and level it up, plunder, whatever you use to level up your weapons, and then come back to me or don't. But I hope that your opinions don't get influenced by what people say in terms of these weapons, and I hope that you give the weapons a chance. Now, if you have used AK-74u, make sure to leave your experiences down below in the comment section down below. But yeah, anyways, I guess watching. See you guys later, and I'm out.